Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, local first responders in Pike County are putting an emphasis on serve in their motto to serve and protect. And after nearly 10 months, WNBA All-Star Brittany Griner is back on American soil.
Plus, showers continue to filter back into the area. How long they stick around and when we finally get some relief coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley, and we want to welcome our viewers tuning in on our second channel, Heroes and Icons, who might be tuning in right now wondering why I'm on here and not the WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic. We understand just a few moments ago there was a player injured for Perry Central. This was the girls' consolation game, the first of 3 games today. There was a player injured and taken away by ambulance. We do not know their condition or exactly what happened. I wasn't watching the broadcast earlier, but this is all just happened in the last little bit. So that's why you're seeing this newscast now on Heroes and Icons. That game has been canceled now. Both teams agreed to suspend the game and just cancel it, but the action will pick up, we understand, at 6:45 with the 2 girls' semifinal games. But again, if you're tuning in to watch the Mountain Classic, the first game today, the girls' consolation game, is suspended and canceled because of a player injury. We'll have more information as it becomes available. First responders in Pikeville give back to their community by giving to family resource centers and local elementary, middle, and high schools. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from the Pikeville Police Department and one Pike County school on how much this donation means to them.
In past years, the Pikeville Police and Fire Department and their first responder community outreach program gathered school supplies for family resource and youth service centers throughout Pike County. But due to the pandemic, Pikeville PD and FD decided to change the way they were giving to these centers.
The best way to do it would be in the form of a gift card, and they can use it for their resource people, know exactly who and what they need it for. So it's just a lot easier, and the schools can use it for exactly what they need for that X amount of children.
On Wednesday, every school in the Pike County School District, as well as the Pikeville Independent School District, received $500 for its resource center, totaling $10,500 worth of supplies.
Paper, pencils, folders, binders, crayons, anything that they need, poster paper. We try to make sure it's all here.
And more than just supplies. Some resource centers, such as this one at Dorton Elementary School, also have shoes, clothes, and hygiene products if a student is in need.
There are children out there that do not have their basic needs met. And we do everything that we can. There are some things that we can't do. But we do everything that we possibly can to help them.
First responders giving back to their community.
If you're going to be a fireman, or you're going to be a police officer, you're going to be anything to do with the community, your first objective is to help the community.
By protecting and serving. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Dorton Elementary School Family Resource Coordinator Elisa Hurley also added that making sure children have what they need would not be possible without donations like this.
The gloomy conditions continue throughout the mountains this afternoon as we turn it into the evening. In fact, the higher you go, we may even see some more fog developing out there. There's the scene from Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County, 50 the current temperature, as we are dealing with quite a bit of fog and mist throughout the region as rain continues to fall. Low to middle 50s through many parts of the region. However, you go up to the I-64 corridor, they're closer to those 40s right now. And we'll continue to see rain pushing out of the region. In fact, it's already starting to dry up places like Somerset, Mount Vernon, up to Irvin, Slade, Stanton, back over toward Frenchburg, and even now toward Campton right now. So we're continuing to see everything push off to the east, and rain will be ending for most as we head later on into tonight. A few more showers, though, across southern and central Indiana. We'll have to keep an eye on those as we head into tomorrow. We're in the middle and upper 40s with that break in the showers on the way for tonight. The details, though, on when we return to some rather calm conditions in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. President Biden announced this morning that Brittany Griner is safe and on her way home. The WNBA star was released from Russian detention as part of a prisoner swap. CBS's Deborah Alfarone reports on the breakthrough and the other prisoner left behind.
Brittany Griner's wife, Sherelle, joined President Biden at the White House to announce the WNBA star's release from a Russian prison.
Today is just a happy day for me and my family, so I'm going to smile right now.
Griner was freed as part of a prisoner swap, the U.S. releasing the notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout in exchange. Left out of the deal was former Marine Paul Whelan, who has been held since 2018 on espionage charges. After news of Griner's release, Whelan had a message for the president.
I would hope that he and his administration would do everything they could to get me home, regardless of the price they might have to pay at this point.
Whelan's brother said in a statement that the administration made the right decision, but that the family is still devastated. Brittany is free and Paul is still a hostage. The White House had hoped for a prisoner swap that would include both Americans, but the State Department says the choice was to bring home only Griner or no one at all.
Sadly, for totally illegitimate reasons, Russia is treating Paul's case differently than Brittany's. And while we have not yet succeeded in securing Paul's release, we are not giving up.
The exchange took place on an airport tarmac in the United Arab Emirates 10 months after Griner's arrest on drug charges. Senior administration officials say she is in good health and was all smiles at her release, eager to return to her family and the basketball court. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Some criticism of the prisoner swap has centered on the release of the Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout, who was serving a 25-year sentence for conspiring to sell weapons with the intent to harm Americans. Brittany Griner's Olympic coach Dawn Staley called for compassion for the 8-time WNBA All-Star today. Staley, who led the United States to gold at the Tokyo Games and was an assistant coach in 2016, was among those calling for Griner's release after she was first detained in February. Staley, a basketball Hall of Famer who is head coach of the South Carolina women's collegiate team, said the basketball community would continue to advocate for Americans wrongfully detained in Russia and elsewhere.
We thought Brittany's star power would probably bring, her and someone else home, and that just didn't happen.
Staley watched Griner grow from a first overall WNBA draft pick in 2013 to one of the dominant forces in the league and an American superstar who collected 2 World Cup golds on top of her Olympic titles. She also called on critics to show empathy for Griner's family and friends. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is under investigation by the House Ethics Committee. The committee released a statement on the matter yesterday but did not reveal the reason for the probe. The conservative Republican group American Accountability Foundation reportedly filed a complaint to the Office of Congressional Ethics about Ocasio-Cortez. They accused her of, quote, accepting an impermissible gift to attend the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute Gala. The Ethics Committee did not say whether its investigation was related to that complaint. CBS News has learned at least 2 more documents with classified markings were found at a storage site in Florida used by former President Donald Trump. Trump's legal team oversaw the latest search at the direction of a federal judge. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
The Justice Department's hunt for classified government documents possibly removed from the White House by Donald Trump is picking up steam. A U.S. official confirmed to CBS News that representatives for the former president alerted the FBI that they recovered 2 items with classified markings at a storage facility in Florida. The official confirmed the items were inside a sealed box.
The disregard and disdain for legal norms and rules simply cannot be accepted from anyone. No one is above the law.
The new discovery comes just months after federal agents confiscated more than 300 classified documents at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate.
Yet another instance in which Trump has failed to comply with lawful demands to return them.
Trump's legal team oversaw the latest search for papers at the direction of a federal judge to ensure they were properly complying with a subpoena issued earlier this year. The locations they examined included the president's golf club at Bedminster, New Jersey, Trump Tower in New York, and the storage facility in Florida.
The first question now is the Department of Justice satisfied they have everything? If they don't, how are they going to get the rest?
A spokesperson for the former president says, quote, Trump and his counsel continue to be cooperative and transparent despite the unprecedented, illegal, and unwarranted attacks against him. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The Justice Department recently appointed a special counsel, Jack Smith, to head up the agency's investigations into the documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has unveiled the first U.S. currency bearing her signature. It's the first time that U.S. currency will bear the name of a female Treasury Secretary. Yellen's name will appear on U.S. currency alongside that of U.S. Treasurer Lynn Malerba, the first Native American in that role.
I am truly honored that, thanks to the hard work of this team, the first banknotes with my signature are being delivered this month to the Federal Reserve, and they'll be in circulation starting in the new year.
It will be the first time that both of the signatures on U.S. bills will belong to women. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, if you're trying to consolidate your student loans, consumer experts warn you may be a target for scammers. What to watch for to avoid getting ripped off.
Plus, showers are working back into the region for the late week. The very latest on the return of wet weather on the way next.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose.